By Sri Lanka's best internet package for online learning and online working with many amazing offers. Call 1212 for more information. Sri Lanka Telecom.
ලෙන්ගතුකම වැඩි කරගන්න ලව්ජු රුපියල් 50ට අඩු කළා.
මාමේ එන්න අපිට එකක් බොමු.
Tonight, no questions. Is the PCOI told of former President Maithripala Sirisena's instructions to attorney to not cross-examine ex-SIS chief? Harsh measures. Police department reveals plans to stop mobile cash payment to thwart drug racketeers, while police shoot Underworld gunman during escape attempt. Essential changes. Justice Minister pledges to end child marriages and nurture Buddhism as a constitutional requirement. Rapid action. The President orders completion of vital Singharaja road link to Lankagama villages within 90 days. All that and much more coming up on First at 9, this Saturday the 29th of August 2020.
Nava sunlight sakura. Then Dikukal pavathina sakura mal suandin.
From AdaDerana, this is AdaDerana First at 9. Live from Studio 24 in Colombo.
Good evening and welcome to First at 9. I'm Dhammika Kanayaka. Let's start with your local stories. Now, former President Maithripala Sirisena had instructed his legal counsel to not cross-examine former Director of State Intelligence Service Senior DIG Nilantha Jayawardena. This was revealed when former President Sirisena's legal counsel was asked whether he wanted to actually cross-examine the former SIS chief during the Presidential Commission of Inquiry proceedings. Now, during yesterday's proceedings, a letter sent by the Army Intelligence to State Intelligence Service in late March informing of attacks ringleader Zahran Hashim's whereabouts was also taken up. The Presidential Commission of Inquiry probing the Easter Sunday terror attacks has heard evidence from former Chief of the State Intelligence Service, Senior DIG Nilantha Jayawardena, than from any other summoned before the Commission. As he appeared before the PCOI for the 21st day yesterday, Major Pradeep Payagala, the legal counsel representing the former director of the Intelligence Directorate of Sri Lanka Army, brought a letter provided to the State Intelligence Service on the 24th of March in 2019 to the attention of the former SIS chief. The letter contained intelligence to the tune that Zahran Hashim had fled to India with the assistance of Rifkan Badiuddin, a brother of former Minister Rishad Badiuddin. This had also been revealed before the Commission on a previous occasion, and Senior DIG Nilantha Jayawardena told the Commission then that the relevant information provided by the Army Intelligence was contradictory, as the documents said that Zahran had fled to India while also acknowledging that Zahran was still in Sri Lanka. Jayawardena also told the Commission earlier that the State Intelligence Service did not have any information on Zahran leaving the country. Attorney-at-Law Major Pradeep Payagala, representing the former Director of the Intelligence Directorate of Sri Lanka Army, asked the witness, quote, "Do you think that the report we sent was a hindrance to your investigation on Zahran?" unquote. In response, Jayawardena said, quote, "The report of the Army Intelligence Director was not a hindrance to my investigation on Zahran. The other matter is that a powerful Western intelligence agency gave me information on Zahran being in a foreign country before the Army Intelligence did," unquote. It was then the turn of the legal counsel representing the former senior DIG in charge of the Criminal Investigation Department, Ravi Senivratna, to cross-examine the witness. However, the Commission decided to conduct most of it in the absence of media. When the proceedings reopened to media, Chairman of the Commission asked the legal counsel representing former President Maithripala Sirisena whether he needs to cross-examine former Director of the SIS, Senior DIG Nilantha Jayawardena. Legal counsel of former President Sirisena responded, quote, "Former President Maithripala Sirisena has informed my senior counsel to not cross-examine Nilantha Jayawardena," unquote. The chairman of the Presidential Commission then ordered former Director of State Intelligence Service, Senior DIG Nilantha Jayawardena, to appear before the Commission on the 14th of September to testify further.
Enjoy a very smooth shave with the Bic Easy 2 razor. Bic Easy 2.
Underworld gunman Indra, one of late Underworld figure Samyan's lead operators, was shot dead by the Navagamur police during what has been described as a suicidal escape attempt, according to the sequence of events described by the police team. Indra, who had been wanted for 5 murders, 10 extortion cases and for heroin racketeering, was leading a police team to the location of a weapons cache when he attempted to throttle the driver of the police jeep and caused the vehicle to crash when he was shot. Meanwhile, further arrests have been made across the Western Province during operations to nab drug racketeers and underworld figures today, with senior DIG in charge of the Western Province, Deshabandhu Tennakoon, saying that the police are looking into banning payment platforms such as EasyCash, heavily used by drug racketeers.
Indunil Vajrakumara, alias Indra, late Underworld gang leader Samyang's main gunman, was arrested on the 27th of this month by the Navagamur police. During the operation to nab him, however, Indra had tried his level best to evade arrest by jumping into the Kalani River, but police officers were able to prevent his escape at the time. Subsequent to his arrest, police found 10 grams of heroin in his possession and proceeded to interrogate him. During interrogations, at around 8:30 p.m. last night, Indra had offered to reveal to police officers the location of a weapons cache belonging to him and also point out several close associates. Accordingly, the suspect had then led a team from the Navagamur police, including OIC Dinesh Atharagama, to an area in Ambulagama in Ranala. However, on arrival there, he had then told the police team that the weapons were instead at another location in Ranala, identified as Yashodhara Mawata. Once the group arrived at the new location, Indra had once again informed the police team that no weapons could be found there and directed them to head to the previous location in Ambulagama. On arriving there, Indra had then taken the police team to a forested area where, hidden inside an empty disused water tank, was a cache of weapons including a micro-pistol, 5 rounds of ammunition along with a magazine, a shotgun, 1 hand grenade and a combat knife. According to reports, on the way back to the Navagamur police station with the weapons, the suspect had been engaged in casual conversation with the police team. Subsequently, when the police vehicle neared Suduvila Junction on High Level Road, the suspect had suddenly gone quiet and then lurched at the driver and wrapped his handcuffs around the driver's neck and shouted, "I will die and take you all with me." During the scuffle between the suspect and police officers who attempted to free the driver, the police driver had lost control and the vehicle had begun swerving across the road. It was at this point that a police officer in the back of the vehicle had opened fire at the suspect at point-blank range, and the jeep had then crashed into a ditch. The police team had then transported Indra, who had sustained a serious gunshot wound to his head, to a hospital in the Navagamur area. The suspect was pronounced dead on arrival. The police driver was also admitted to the hospital with injuries to his neck. The police revealed that Indra, an army deserter, was wanted in connection with 5 murders, 10 cases of extortion, as well as for heroin racketeering. In the meantime, a number of large-scale illicit liquor production facilities operating in the Muthurajavela Reserve were destroyed yesterday. The operation was carried out with the combined assistance of the Air Force Intelligence Surveillance System, the Police Special Task Force Special Weapons and Tactics Unit, and the Navy's Special Boat Squadron. An Air Force Bell 212 helicopter and several Navy dirigibles were utilized in the operation. Meanwhile, the Organized Crime Investigation Unit of the Colombo Crime Division seized a van belonging to the wife of a suspect who was earlier arrested in possession of 3 kilograms of heroin. Investigations have revealed that the van was used recently to transport underworld figure Valle Saranga and 4 associates of Angura Lokka to the Bandar Naika International Airport in their attempt to flee the country to Dubai. Subsequent investigations have revealed that the 4 suspects arrested at the airport and the suspect arrested with the 3 kilograms of heroin were part of the same drug network. In another development, Dumgalpitia police have arrested 4 suspects with 10 grams of heroin in their possession today. Further, the army has recovered a firearm hidden in a jungle in the Adappan area and have handed it over to the Police Special Task Force for further investigations. Meanwhile, a workshop was held in Colombo today to educate police officers on resolving issues relating to operations to curb organized crime and drug trafficking in the Western Province.
ක්‍රියාත්මක වෙන සංවිධානාත්මක අපරාධ කල්ලි 25ක් බස්නාහිර පළාත ඇතුළතගෙන තියෙනවා. ඒකෙන් කණ්ඩායම් 20ක් ඉතාම ක්‍රියාශීලී මට්ටමින් ක්‍රියාත්මක වෙනවා. මේ 25 සමාජිකයන් 388 දෙනෙක් ඉන්නවා. ඒකෙන් සමාජික 346 දෙනෙක් දැනට ක්‍රියාකාරීව ඉන්නවා. දැන් මේ 388 දෙනාගෙන් සිර දඬුවම් ලබලා 6 දෙනෙක් දැනට සිරගත වෙනවා. 130ක් දැනට රිමාන්ඩ් බන්ධනාගාරවල ඉන්නවා. මේ 6 දෙනා සහ මේ 130 දෙනාව පොලිසිය විසින් කොතරම් බෙහෙස වෙලා අත්අඩංගුවට අරගෙන ඉවිල්ලා බන්ධනාගාරගත කරත් මේ 136 දෙනාම බන්ධනාගාරය තුල සිටමින් තමාගේ කටයුතු ඉතාම හොඳින් ආරක්ෂා සහිත විදිහින් කිරීම තමයි අපිට පොලිසිය වශයෙන් මුණ පාණ්ඩ වෙලා තියෙන ප්‍රධාන ගැටලුවක් වෙලා තියෙන්නේ. මේ අය බන්ධනාගාරය තුල ජංගම දුර්ගත මාර්ගයෙන් සහ වෙනත් පණිවිඩකරුවන්ගේ මාර්ගයෙන් අපරාධ මෙහෙයවීම පාලනය කිරීම සඳහා දැන් මේ වෙනකොට සෑහෙන විධිමත් ක්‍රියාමාර්ග රාශියක් කරන් තිනවා. මේ අපමත ඉන්න පිරිස අතරින් 123 දෙනෙක් නියමිත දිනවලට අධිකරණයේ පෙනී සිටමින් සමාජගතව ඉන්නවා. ඉතා පැහැදිලිව මේන් සැලකිය යුතු පිරිසක් ඒ හොඳ මූණු වල පෙනී ඉදීමේ නියමිත දවස්වල අධිකරණයේ පෙනී ඉදීමෙන් කප්පම් ගැනීම සහ මද්ද්‍රව්‍ය ජාලය මෙහෙයවමින් සිටින බව පසුගිය දිනවල කරපු අත්අඩංගුවට වලින් ඉතා පැහැදිලිව පේනවා. සොයා ගැනීමට නොහැකි 16 දෙනෙක් ඉන්නවා. ඒ වගේම විදේශගත වෙච්ච 25 දෙනෙක් මෙතන ඉන්නවා. මේ 16 දෙනාටත් මේ 25 දෙනාටත් අය ඔක්කොටම රෙඩ් නෝටිස් ගැනීමේ ක්‍රියාවලිය අපි ආරම්භ කරලා තිනවා. දරුව අධිකරණයෙන් අපි විවෘත වරෙන්තු නිකුත් කරවාගෙන මේ වෙද්දි මේන් 19 දෙනෙකුට රතු නිවේදනය ලබාගෙන තිනවා. ලංකාවේ මේ වෙනකොට ඇවිල්ලා හෙරොයින් වලට ඇඩික්ට් වෙච්ච ගංජා වලට මේ සංඛ්‍යාව, කියලා ඖෂධ මේ ප්‍රතිවර්ග වලට මේ සංඛ්‍යාව, අයිස් වගේ දේවල් එහෙම ඔක්කොම 5,33,883ක් ඉන්නවා කියලා ඉවරලා ලංකාව තුල. මේකෙන් කොළඹ නගරයේ ඉන්නවා 25000කට අධික පිරිසක්. ඊට පස්සේ ඊසි කෑෂ් සහ එම් කෑෂ් වලින් මනි ට්‍රාන්ස්ෆර් කරන එක සම්බන්ධව දැන් අපි ආරක්ෂක ලේකම්තුමත් එක්ක සාකච්ඡා කරලා කම්පැනි එක ගෙනල්ලා ඒවා වහන්න අවශ්‍ය කර ක්‍රියාමාර්ග ඉදිරි මාස කිහිපෙදි ගන්නවා. බැංකුව වලත් මේ සිස්ටම් එක සම්පූර්ණ වෙනස් කරන්න අවශ්‍ය කරන සියලු ක්‍රියාමාර්ග ගනිමින් සූදානම්ෙන් ඉන්නවා.
අත්අඩංගුවට අරගෙන මාස කිහිපයක් ඇතුළත අපිට ගොනු එවනවා නම් නීතිපතිතුමා වෙත චෝදනා ඉදිරිපත් කරන්න මාස 3ක් වගේ ඇතුළත කාලයකදී අපි අධිචෝදනා ඉදිරිපත් කරන්න කටයුතු කරන්න බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා.
Moving ahead with other stories, President Gotabaya Rajapaksa inspected the 18-kilometre Neluwa-Lankagama-Pitadeniya road today, the development of which has drawn protests from environmentalists and conservationists who argue that the project can cause damage to the Singharaja Rainforest Reserve. However, police flooded in from villagers in the area who revealed that the road was an existing one and was the main route used by them to reach Deniya. Now, and today, the President ordered officials to ensure the completion of the road within 3 months and the commencement of a new bus service from there on.
The development of the 18-kilometre-long Neluwa-Lankagama-Pitadeniya rural road, which runs through the World Heritage Site, the Singharaja Rainforest, and the River Ging, commenced on 30th July this year. 2 teams of Sri Lanka Army personnel undertook the development of the road, which aimed to increase the width of the road from 10 feet to 12 feet. However, following protests from environmentalists and conservationists, who charged that the development would threaten the forest's fragile ecosystem, President Gotabaya Rajapaksa ordered the work to be suspended until further notice. In this backdrop, the President today paid an inspection visit to the Neluwa-Lankagama-Pitadeniya road in the company of officials of the Road Development Authority, the Departments of Wildlife Conservation and Environment, and other ministry officials. Following this inspection, the President ordered officials to ensure that the construction of the 18-kilometre road is completed within a 3-month period and emphasized the need to avoid any damage to the forest reserve's ecosystem. The President has also ordered authorities to commence a bus service from Lankagama to Deniya upon completion of the road, which will reduce travel time from the current 4 hours to just 45 minutes. Further instructions were given to construct a new bridge to replace the current dilapidated suspension bridge in the Lankagama village, which will, as a result, allow the free and safe movement of children attending schools in Watugala, Lankagama, Nilwella, Kolontotua and Pitadeniya. The President also instructed every family in the Lankagama area, where 700 families make a living by cultivating tea and other plantation crops, to cultivate 2,100 plants, amounting to 3 plants per family, and replant them in the forest reserve.
We will see you shortly. Bear with us.
Ceylon Bank, the bank with a heart.
Welcome back. You're watching First at 9. Now, Minister of Justice, President's Counsel Ali Sabri today pledged to bring an end to the issue of child marriages, which he said was an issue brought to his attention by delegations representing Muslim women. The Justice Minister stated this during courtesy calls on the chief prelates of the Askiri and Malwata chapters today, where he also stated that the nurturing of Buddhism remains enshrined in the country's constitution, which is the duty of all Sri Lankans regardless of race or religion.
Justice Minister, President's Counsel Ali Sabri, paid courtesy calls on the chief prelates of the Askiriya and Malwata chapters today. The Minister of Justice first visited the Malwata temple and met with the chief incumbent, Most Venerable Tibbatuave Sri Sumangala Thera. Thereafter, the Minister of Justice visited the Askiriya temple and met with the chief prelate of the Askiriya chapter, Most Venerable Varakagoda Sri Jnana Ratana Thera.
අභියෝගවලට මුහුණ දෙන්න සිද්ධ වෙයි. විශේෂයෙන් ළමා විවාහ සම්බන්ධයෙන් ගැටලුවක් තිබෙනවා. ඒවා පිළිබඳව අවධානය යොමු කරන්න. අන්වයසින් විවාහ වන එක වළක්වන්න. මුස්ලිම් කාන්තාව සංගම් සිදුවන මාර්ගයෙන් හම්බෙනවා. ඉතින් ඒකත් අපි අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම අපේ අවධානය යොමු වෙලා තියෙන දෙයක්. අපි දන්නවා අභියෝගාත්මක නමුත් රට වෙනුවෙන් කළ යුතුයි.
During his visit, the minister also called on the chief incumbent of the Gatambi Rajappa Vanarama Pirivena and the deputy chief prelates of the Malwata and Askiriya chapters.
විශ්වාස දිනලා තියෙනවා ඔබ තමයි
මම පුංචි කාලේ ඉඳලම හෝඩිය පන්තියේ ඉඳලා සිංහලෙන් ඉගෙන ගත්තා. මම ඉස්ලාම ආගම අදහුවට සංස්කෘතිමය වශයෙන් මම පෝෂණය වෙලා තියෙන ලංකාවේ සංස්කෘතිය. මේ ලංකාවේ සංස්කෘතිය කියන්නේ 70%ක් 80%ක් සිංහල බෞද්ධ සංස්කෘතිය. අපේ සමාජය තුල ඕනෑම සමාජයක් තුල යම් කොටසක් තියෙනවා අන්තවාදී අදහස් ගන්න. අපි උත්සාහ කරන්නේ ඒ අයව තෝරගෙන කොහොමද පුනරුත්ථාපනය කරගන්න කියන. බහුතරයට තාම අවශ්‍යයි හොඳට ශ්‍රී ලාංකික හැටියට එකට ජීවත්.
Meanwhile, Media Minister Keheliya Ramukwella also called on the chief prelates of the Malwata and Askiriya chapters today. Following this, the minister also called on the deputy chief prelates of the two chapters.
දකුණු පළාතේ හයිවේ එක හැම පැත්තටම මේක වීදුවල කෝ අපේ ඒක නෑනේ කඩවටට යන්න හරියටම පැටුණක් යනවා එහෙමයි ඔබට මාලට නම් කොහොම හරි එහෙම කරනවා යනවා පැය 4ක් විතර යනවා නෝරෙන් දැන් එනකොට මම එදා ඉඳන්ම ඕක ගැන කතා කරපු කෙනෙක් මොකද මට අන්තිමට හයිවේ මිනිස්ටර් කියලා දැම්මනවා මොකද මේ කාලය තුල අපි අවසන් කරනවා අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම.
Meanwhile, State Minister of Transport Dilum Amunugama also called on the chief prelates of the Malwata and Askiriya chapters today.
මෝටර රථ සහ දුම්රිය මැදිරි දේශීයව නිෂ්පාදනය කිරීම පිළිබඳව අපේ අවධානය යොමු වෙලා තියෙනවා. විශේෂයෙන්ම අපේ ඒකල ලක්දිව මෝටර් ඉංජිනේරු සමාගම හරහා බස් රථවලත් අපේ විදේශ විනිමය ඉදිරි කර ගැනීම සඳහා අපි ඉදිරියේදී ලොරි චැසි නොවන බස් චැසි ලංකාවට ආනයනය කරලා ඒ වගේ පිටත සැකසීම අපි දේශීයව කරන්න බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා.
Member of Parliament of the Samagi Janabalawege, Dr. Harshadi Silva, says that the current government has no real intention of repealing the 19th Amendment to the Constitution, since it had already said that the terms of the President and the Parliament won't be changed. Speaking to media, some SJB members also touched on the UNP leadership issue as well.
The parliamentary group meeting of the Samagi Janabalawege was held yesterday at the opposition leader's office in Colombo. The meeting was headed by leader of the opposition, Sajid Premadasa.
අද දින සාකච්ඡාව කරේ අතරම මේ 19 වෙනි සංශෝධනය අතරම එකෙන් ලැබුණු ප්‍රතිලාභ ආපසර හරවන්නට රජය ක්‍රියා කරනවා. එතකොට මේක ආරක්ෂා කිරීමටත් ඒ වගේම මේකෙන් ඉදිරියට 19 අපේ රජයක් යටතේ අනාගතයේදී 19ටත් වඩා පුළුල් බලතර ජනතාවට දීලා ගිහිල්ලා මීටත් වඩා ප්‍රජාතන්ත්‍රවාදී රාජ්‍ය ක්‍රමයක් බිහි කරන්නේ කොහොමද කියන වැඩපිළිවෙල තමයි අපි සාකච්ඡා කරේ.
අරු ජයසූරිය මහත්මයා එක්සත් ජාතික පක්ෂයේ නායකත්වය ඔබතුමා හිතනවා සුදුසුයි කියලා.
ඒක ඉතින් එක්සත් ජාතික පක්ෂයෙන් තීන්දුව කරන්නට ඕනේ.
එතුමා වුණොත් ඔබතුමාලාගේ කියන්නේ අලුත් සන්දානයක් ගොඩනගාගෙන
එහෙම වුණොත් එකට එකතු වෙලා වැඩ කරන්නට පහසු වෙයි. මොකද මේ වෙනකොටම අපේ නායකතුමා කරු ජයසූරිය මහත්මයාට ආරාධනා කරලා තියෙනවා අපිත් එක්ක දේශපාලනයට එන්න කියලා.
නෑ දැනටම ඒගොල්ලෝ කියනවානේ දූර දෙක තියන්න ඕනේ කියලා. දූර දෙකේ සීමාව අයින් කරන්නේ නැහැ කියලා. ඒගොල්ලොම කියනවානේ අවුරුදු 5ට අපි අඩු කරානේ පාර්ලිමේන්තුවේ දූර කාලයයි ජනාධිපතිතුමාගේ දූර කාලයයි ඒක අයින් කරන්නේ නැහැ කියලා කියනවානේ. එතකොට ඒකෙම කියනවානේ 19 අයින් කරන්නේ නැහැ කියලා. සංශෝධන කරන්න පුළුවන්.
විදේශිකයන්ට ද්විත්වපුර වැසියන්ට රටේ විධායකයෙ ඉන්න පුළුවන්ද? ජනාධිපති වෙන්න පුළුවන්ද? කැබිනට් මණ්ඩලෙ ඉන්න පුළුවන්ද? දැන් හිතලා බලන්න. එහෙම හිටියොත් රටවල් දෙකක් අතරේ ගැටණයක් ආවොත් ඕස්ට්‍රේලියාවයි ලංකාවේ ද්විත්වපුර වැසියෙක්, ඇමරිකාවේ ලංකාවේ ද්විත්වපුර වැසියෙක්. හරිද? ගැටණයක් ආවොත් රටවල් දෙක අතරේ කාගේ පැත්තද ඒ ගන්න යන්නේ? ඉතින් මේ වගේ බොහෝම හිතන්න තියෙන දේවල් තියෙනවා.
Now, staying with politics, the United National Party's Ruwan Wijewardena says that he will definitely stand to become the next leader of the United National Party. Addressing a party event today, the former parliamentarian said that he has no regrets in not being elected to Parliament and is content with the decisions made in the lead-up to the polls as principled politicians.
The United National Party election office in the Anuradhapura East Electorate was ceremoniously opened today under the patronage of former United National Party MP Ruwan Wijewardena.
DS සේනානායක මැතිතුමා උඩ ඉඳන් බලාගෙන ඉන්නවා. මේ පක්ෂයට වැටෙන්න දෙන්නේ නැහැ. එතුමාගේ පරපුරෙන්ම අපිට ලැබිලා ඉන්නවා මැනිකක්. අපිට ජව සම්පන්න නායකත්වයක් ඕන. තරුණ නායකත්වයක් ඕන. එහෙම නැතුනොත් මේකට මුහුණ දෙන්න මේකට මෙහෙවන්න බෑ. ඒ නිසා මම අපේ රුවන් විජේවර්ධන මැතිතුමාගෙන් ආචාර කරලා සියලු දෙනා ඉදිරියට ඉල්ලනවා. ඔබතුමා මේ පක්ෂයේ නායකත්වය ගන්න ඉදිරිපත් වෙන්න ඕන.
අපේ පක්ෂයෙන් කණ්ඩායමක් කඩාගෙන ගිහිල්ලා වෙනම පක්ෂයකින් මේ මහමැතිවරණයට ඉදිරිපත් වුණා. ඒක අපිට අභියෝගයක් වුණා මේ අවස්ථාවේදී. අපේ පාක්ෂිකයන් ගොඩක් කලකිරුණා. ඒ නිසා තමයි ඇත්තෙන්ම අපිට මෙවැනි පරාජයකට අපිට මුහුණ දෙන්න උනේ. මේක එක්සත් ජාතික පක්ෂයේ පරාජයක් නෙවෙයි. මම මේක දකින්නේ අවස්ථාවක් හැටියට. දැන් අපිට අවස්ථාවක් තියෙනවා මිත්‍රනි අපි කොතනද වැරදුනේ කියලා හොයාගන්න. අවස්ථාවක් දැන් තියෙනවා මේ පක්ෂය තුල අවශ්‍ය ප්‍රතිසංවිධාන වැඩ කටයුතු සියල්ලක්ම කරන්න. අපිට සජිත් ප්‍රේමදාස මැතිතුමාත් එක්ක යන්න තිබ්බා. ලේසියෙන් දිනා ගන්නටත් තිබ්බා. නමුත් අපි ප්‍රතිපත්ති දේශපාලනයක් කරා. අපිට මේ පක්ෂය දාලා යන්න බෑ. පාර්ලිමේන්තුවට නොගිය එක මම කනගාටු වෙන්නේ නැහැ. මම හරි තීරණයක් ගත්තේ. අපේ ආශු මාරසිංහ මැතිතුමාගේ ප්‍රශ්නෙට උත්තරයක් හැටියට වමුන්නාන්සලටත් කියන්නට ඕනේ අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම එක්සත් ජාතික පක්ෂයේ නායකත්වයට මම අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම ඉදිරිපත් වෙන බව මේ අවස්ථාවේදී ප්‍රකාශ කරන්න ඕනේ.
Minister of Wildlife C.B. Ratnayaka has appointed a 5-member committee headed by the ministry's secretary to investigate the clearing of Ana-Vilundawa wetland sanctuary in Mundalama of Puttlam. Meanwhile, the businessman and the backhoe operator involved in the illegal act were remanded today until the 4th of September. Now, they were produced before the Chilao Magistrates Court. The 35-year-old businessman in question was taken into custody earlier today, while the backhoe operator was apprehended yesterday. The backhoe loader used by the suspect was also seized by the police. The relevant businessman was arrested based on information obtained from the apprehended backhoe operator. On the 25th of August, the mangrove ecosystem in the sanctuary has been cleared illegally. According to the Secretary to the Ministry of Wildlife and Forest Conservation, the area where the illegal activity had taken place is just over half a hectare. The 1,397 hectare land was declared a sanctuary on the 11th of May 1997 in terms of the Fauna and Flora Protection Ordinance. We will see you shortly. Bear with us. Welcome back. This is First at 9. Now, Right Reverend Dr. P. Anton Ranjith was consecrated as the new Auxiliary Bishop of Colombo by His Eminence Malcolm Cardinal Ranjith at St. Lucia's Cathedral in Kottahena today. Father Anton Ranjith Pillenagam, aged 53, will serve as the third Auxiliary Bishop of the Archdiocese. The priest has been appointed as an Auxiliary Bishop in Colombo Archdiocese in a move expected to improve North-South relations in Sri Lanka. He was ordained as a priest on the 16th of September in the year 2000 by Archbishop Nicholas Marcus Fernando at St. Lucia's Cathedral, Kottahena. Now, 3 new Covid-19 infections were reported in the country yesterday. The Department of Government Information stated that the 3 new cases were reported to be repatriated from Sri Lankans, from the United Kingdom, the United Arab Emirates and Kuwait. With these new cases, the total number of infections in Sri Lanka so far has now reached 2,989. Further, 2,842 Covid-19 patients have been completely cured and discharged to date. This leaves a further 135 patients remaining under treatment at hospitals throughout the country. Now, the Export Development Board and the Foreign Ministry have launched several joint initiatives to enhance Sri Lanka's exports. Now, this, they say, includes identifying new market opportunities, creating awareness by disseminating market alerts, addressing supply chain issues, enhancing capacity building through webinars and creating business linkages to support existing exporters to sustain their exports. Sri Lanka's export income, which stood at $277 million in April 2020, has increased to $1.09 billion in July and is projected to grow in the coming months. Although lockdowns are easing in several countries, including Sri Lanka, the EDB and the Foreign Ministry say they continue to collaborate with the assistance and support of the network of Sri Lanka missions overseas to connect buyers and sellers virtually, assessing and responding to market trends. Virtual trade fairs and displays in year-long virtual shopping malls are being considered as alternative ways to physical trade fairs to link exporters with potential overseas buyers. Sri Lanka's export target was revised to $10.75 billion for this year. Now, and in your news overseas, actor Chadwick Boseman, who brought the movie Black Panther to life, has died with cancer at the age of 43. Boseman has battled colon cancer since 2016 and has died at home with his family and wife by his side. His diagnosis was not made public. The news has left fans and the film world stunned. His family said in a statement that various movies in which the star featured in were filmed during and between countless surgeries and chemotherapy. Boseman came to prominence playing real-life figures baseball great Jackie Robinson in 2013's 42 and soul singer James Brown in 2014's Get On Up. However, he will be best remembered for the 2018 blockbuster Black Panther. Black Panther was the first superhero film to get a nomination for the Best Picture at Oscars. A sequel was in the works and was due to come out in 2022, with Boseman set to return. And that's it from all of us here at First at 9. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.